I'm very proud to present and give a welcome to the Italian activism network called RABIT, Rete di Attivismo Bisessuale Italiana, which is actually a clever play on words. I will, sorry, just give possibility to those presenting. So this will be more like a group, both presentation and workshop, and discussing how and what the Italian activism has done and the rise of a network of grassroots activists and association. So I'll be very happy. This is a group of many people, but sorry, there's not all of us because right now just to give a brief presentation, right now in Italy there's a general national strike for Palestine and occupied Palestine and the global Sumud flotilla. So now many of us, since they're coming from collectives and from grassroots association, many of us are in Rome right now protesting. Just yesterday around 2 million people were protesting all across Italy. So there's not all of us, because we kind of divided those who had the health or the finances to go to Rome, and those who wanted to, of course, manage to present. So I guess you can see my screen, but I'll try again just to check for the audio, because some of us will also present with a small video. So it's a kind of a mixed thing, and then we'll leave a few time for some questions and discussion, and also sharing ideas, like we said previously in the chat. So I'm very proud to present and allow the presentation of Rabbit, specifically with activist Tommaso Mori, who has been also a guest at the BRG conference last year, talking about their work of archives and discovering Italian BIPLAS history. We also have Caterina Scanapieco, an aspect and BIPLAS activist from Italy, which has recently led a great BIPLAS Pride in La Spezia, and also historical BIPLAS activist Elena Lucietto from Anteros Padova, and they are one of the many people who are in Rabbit right now, me included, actually. So there's a bit of a conflict of interest, but we will address this reflexively. And just be mindful for your microphone. So we'll open the microphone when and to not overlap. Okay. So I guess I will leave the floor to Tommaso, if I'm correct. Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you, Tommaso.
Okay.
You can open the...
Thank you. And I think you can see my profile picture. I'm not sure if I can activate my video, but I think you can hear me. And okay, so first of all, thank you, Aureli, for the introduction. And yeah, shout out to the people that right now are in Rome fighting for a free Palestine. And I want to preface that because it's so important right now. And yeah, I'm happy to be here to introduce Rabbit, or as we say in Italian, Rabbit. And I'd like to pronounce it the Italian way because I am very proud to see that in Italy, finally, we have the largest grassroots network that we've ever seen for BIPLAS politics. And it's interesting to ask, what is Rabbit? Rabbit is a network of BIPLAS grassroots groups and individuals that are spread across Italy. We are queer, and we have different lenses that bind us together. We do not just share practices. We feel that we have a common ideological background that is based on the transfeminist fight that must be intersectional. many of us are, and now you should be able to see me. Hi, there we go. Many of us are neuroqueer, and many of us are people so with disabilities, and our activism is thus disability aware. Rabbit was born last year, but it comes from a long history of organizing between BIPOC people in Italy. And the reason why we created this group is because we felt that we needed finally to work together, because individually, both as organizations and individuals, we have been working together in the past 5, 7, 10 years, but there has never been such a large and organized BIPOC group in Italy. We were born last year in 2024, but as I said before, the work that we've done and that we've been doing spans many, many years. And we recognize ourselves into a longer tradition of BIPOC activism in Italy. And for example, one of the starting points could be in 2012, where in northern Italy, in Verona, there was the first BIPOC organization, that is Lieviti. After that, there has been many important things that happened in Italy. There were attempts at creating first Italian networks, for example, Mondo Bisex in 2016, that resisted for 3 years and created a first attempt in creating a shared goal for BIPOC people. Many other important moments that led us today. In 2017, there was the first BIPOC Pride in Italy, thanks to Anteros in Padova. It was also the first BIPOC March, and it was a very special occasion, followed next year in 2018 by the first Bi-Visibility Day in Rome, organized by Fuori dai Binari. The same year, the group I'm part of is Orgoglio Bisessuale, and in the same year, Orgoglio Bisessuale was born, and it started as a local group in Naples, and then over the years was able to do 3 times in a row different bi-marches. The first one in southern Italy in Naples, then in Modena, and then in Florence in Tuscany. There have been other attempts at creating larger networks. For example, in 2022, there was a very interesting international collaboration between the Italian groups and the GAEBI group from Brazil, thanks to PhD Helena Monaco, that worked with us to create a panel on the bi-erasure of Marielle Franco. This led to the creation of a shared work that based the foundation for like next groups that were born. For example, Marielle Gran, that was the foundation of what today is Rete Rabbit. And just 1 year after the foundation of our group, we were able to organize just some weeks ago our first shared BIPOC Pride that took place in the city of La Spezia in Liguria. It's been a very, very powerful moment because we have always worked between organizations, maybe individuals, but none of us really worked in unison as a single org. And this, I feel, was not just a proof of the strength of the movement, but also a next step in what BIPOC organizing can be in Italy, which is already a country that has a fragmented queer activism. Currently, there are 16 members divided between orgs and individual people. And we have many different groups, for example, Anteros in Padova, B+ Milano in Milan, Orgoglio Bisessuale in different cities in Italy, and lately Pan Stelle from mixed LGBTQIA+ in Bari in southern Italy, in Puglia, which we are very proud as group that has started recently in southern Italy, and we feel that is politically so relevant to bring and foster BIPLAS activism in southern regions. Moreover, there are a lot of BIPLAS activists that are part of our groups that are acting individually. And we feel that we are going to expand in the future because there's been a renewed interest in our work. I will leave then the conference to Elena of Anteros.
Thank you, Tommaso.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. No worries.
Okay, perfect. Hello again. I'm Elena, current president of Anteros Padova. Technically, we are not a BIPLAS only organization, so why are we here? Anteros was born in 2012 to be an independent LGBT organization free to tackle issues that were considered fringe or too radical by mainstream LGBT activism. This also included a strong will to challenge homonormativity, and all of that was a strength when it came to fighting biphobia, because at that time no one was speaking up for bisexuals, and bisexuality was really, almost officially, seen as a phase and morally questionable. The fact that some of us, like myself, were bisexual was obviously a factor, but I must say that the rest of the group backed us up from the start. In the following years, we organized events dedicated to bisexualities, ranging from educational to self-help. We also cooperated with feminist and social justice organizations, students' movements, and other queer independent groups, including a spec advocacy group, Rete Attivismo. In one of these collaborations in 2016, we criticized Italy's civil unions bill because it's a ghetto law that gives different rights to same-sex and other-sex couples, and in doing so, it also tears into the lives of bisexual citizens who are faced with having radically different rights based solely on their partner's gender, which is absurd and very stressful. I believe these collaborations contributed to raising bi awareness and tackling bisexual stereotyping that existed in some of those groups. Now, the general situation for Italian BIPLAS folks is better than it was, say, 10 years ago. We get some recognition, and blatant biphobia is frowned upon, at least on paper. This is because of a constant effort from BIPLAS activism, since our main LGBTQIA+ organizations don't implement consistent policies against biphobia. Also, many non-BIPLAS groups fail to realize the importance of bisexuality in shaking the heteronormative divide between heterosexuality and homosexuality. Today, we still feel it's particularly important to have a support group for BIPLAS folks to tackle external and especially internalized biphobia, because only then can people want to proudly fight the good fight, which is bisexual revolution, of course. Next slide, please. Okay, we are especially proud about Bivisibility Day Padova 2017, because it was the first BIPLAS march in Italy. We joined forces with our allies in town, and we also contacted every Italian BIPLAS group we could find, keeping the march's manifesto open to changes and additions until the end. On that beautiful Saturday, we were glad to see BIPLAS people coming from all over Italy to the march to finally find a place for us, like someone told me on that day. Also, it was like a BIPLAS boost to advocacy and cooperation, which was important, in my opinion. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. I will just briefly share, a video by Plus Milano. I thought I was doing it well. Apparently no. Okay.
BIPLAS Milano is a bisexual collective based in the Milan area that organizes safe spaces for bisexual people. It was founded in October 2020, so right in the midst of Italy's second COVID lockdown. And since then, throughout its almost 5 years of activity, it has asserted the need for bisexual spaces and the political nature of bisexual sociality in a context in which bisexual people are still too commonly excluded even from progressive spaces. So talking about our activities, we host monthly community gatherings at affordable prices in safer spaces here in Milan. This ranges from shared meals, our aperitivos, or actually aperibivos, to conversations, games, and film screenings. We also organize open conferences to raise awareness and outreach with a schedule of talks, for example, on topics like bisexual history and bimisogyny. We engage in consciousness-raising activities on various topics and intersections with bisexuality, specifically from a consciousness-raising activity experience in 2022 on the intersections between bisexuality and non-binariness. We then collectively wrote the Manifesto en Bi, or the En Bi Manifesto, as we will say in English. We also take part in radical grassroots or antagonistic, how we call them in Italy, pride marches, especially Marciona in Milan, where we're based, where this year, for the first time, there was a dedicated speech on biphobia and aphobia. We also participate to antagonistic blocks within institutional pride marches throughout Italy. We also took part last November to the bi-feminist bloc, Marea Bifemminista, that was organized inside the National March in Rome for International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. And more broadly, we connect with other activist networks in Milan and collaborate with other queer groups who share similar perspectives to ours. So thank you for listening, and I wish you a happy rest of the talk.
Hi again. Here I am. So now I'm speaking again for Orgoglio Bisessuale, which I'm part of. So as you can see, Orgoglio Bisessuale here, there's a little map of Italy. And Orgoglio Bisessuale actually was born in Naples. And it was born in Naples in 2018 as a local group that received a lot of traction on a national level because there was a lot of interest. And it started both as a political group and a community for bi-plus people. And over the course of the years, in the past 7 years, there's been an expansion of the collective in different places in Italy. Personally, I coordinate along with Aurelio from a different Aurelio, not Aurelio Castro here, but a different Aurelio, which is also the person that organized the beautiful slides that were complimented earlier. And I want to shout out to Aurelio. And I organized a community in Emilia-Romagna, especially in Modena. And that is one of the expansions among with the Florence one, the Turin one, the Perugia one, and the one in Calabria in Lamezia Terme. Orgoglio Bisessuale as a collective works both as a safe place for bi-plus people to engage in a community that is prepared to approach first-comers. And we pride ourselves on having done multiple marches in Italy, both in Naples, Florence, and Modena. And after this experience, we are really working hard to create a type of activism that can avoid the pitfall of burnout in bi-plus people. Because in the past 7 years, we realized that we've done a lot, and thanks to mushroom-like structure, we are dispersed in Italy, which is great because it means that we can reach different parts of the country. But at the same time, this means that we oftentimes are working with limited people, limited resources, and from a self-funded point of view. And we are not a recognized organization, so we don't have public money. And this created obviously some problems for us, because on an energy level, on on a psychological level, this created a lot of pressure. And the group was founded amongst other people by Andrea Penasilico, who is a psychologist. And one of the first and foremost thoughts and practices that we want to bring over is the idea of a bi-activism that can be a bi-plus activism that can be sustainable for people. To make it sustainable, we first and foremost we feel that we need to work with in alliance with different grassroots communities, different places. Both in Naples and other places, we were able to create connections and alliances with trans groups, with aspect groups, non-monogamous groups, transfeminist groups, such as Nuna Di Meno. And we have really put a stress on trying to balance the work that bi-plus activism implies with also building joyous moments of joyful activism, because we feel that this is something that we really have to protect going on to avoid the aforementioned burnout. Thank you.
Thank you, Tommaso. Since we do have not a speaker for now for Pambistelle, just to give it a good reasoning about that. So Pambistelle is a group, a queer organization located in Bari, southern Italy. Again, there's a real difference in Italy, and there's a southern question and difference between resources in the north and the south. So it's really important to have groups everywhere we can. And it was the first bi-plus group in the region of Puglia, which maybe you've heard for their beautiful sea and beautiful cuisine and tarantella. But also the Pambistelle provides a great monthly safe space to explore what it means living as a bi-plus person. They work on bi-plus policies and how to make a difference in their queer community. For the first time ever, they spoke about the Pride, the Bari Pride, and Pride was a discussion about bi-plus stuff. And they also launched their first Bi-Visibility Month public event, an open dialogue between bi-plus people and the rest of the community. Their idea is to be very radical. They're a huge group of people, as you can see from the picture. There's more than 20 persons, especially young queer people, and they want to be visible, to tell their stories and speak up for themselves and promote the idea of bi-plus political autonomy, not just because it's a part, of course, of the acronym, but they really want to work on bi-plus politics. And if you're wondering why about the name, it's a clever word on an Italian famous biscuit called Pambistelle, so it become Pambistelle. So they want to be really visible. They do support groups, they do discussion, and it's a new addition to the Italian bi-plus activist sphere, and one we are very all proud of, because they are really reinvigorating bi-plus activism in southern Italy. Of course, there's other activists. If you want, Caterina. Kate?
Hello.
Hello, we can hear you.
Hi, I'm Kate. You can hear me? Great. First of all, sorry for doing this from a car, but I'm not in Rome with the others for the demonstration for Free Palestine. But I'm actually in La Spezia, where we've been camping for a week in one of the main squares in La Spezia to protest against a military exhibition here in La Spezia, and for in solidarity with the Palestinian people and the Global Summit Flotilla. So I'm here in between dismantling the camping and joining the conference, and I'm joined by the trans shark saying Free Palestine. So Free Palestine to you all, and may Blahaj watch over your gender journeys. As I said, my name is Kate. and I'm part of the other activists, the independent activists in Rabbit. There are some independent activists that are activists, researchers, such as Aurelio Castro, who is here with this conflict of interest. But we thought that it was interesting to mention Rete Attivismo is the group I'm part of, apart from Rabbit. It's a network for ASPEC advocacy in Italy, so asexual and or aromantic, founded in 2020. We are part of the International Asexuality Day network, and we create spaces by and for ASPEC people, both for socialization and for ASPEC empowerment and political organization. We're also working on a grassroots map of ASPEC inclusive services and spaces. And so the second question is it part of Rabbit, and why would it be part of Rabbit? It's not a BIPLUS organization. Indeed, in the slides I wrote, well, but actually not. Well, yes, but actually no, because I wanted to mention the meme. But the answer is actually no. It's a straight no, or a bi no. It's a bisexual no. Rete is not part per se of Rete Rabbit, since we're not a BIPLUS organization, but an ASPEC one. But the overlap and solidarity between the Rabbit network and Rete is very interesting. As Rete during the years, we have supported and attended many different BIPLUS events. We've been speakers and at one BI conference. I've always wanted to speak at this conference, but I never managed to send something when the deadline was due. We were there for many of the marches, for the BIPLUS marches, and also joined with our support. We think that's very interesting because it shows one of the very interesting specificities of BIPLUS activism in Italy, which is a very strong alliance, a very strong solidarity between asexual and aromantic people and BIPLUS people. There's a strong alliance, a strong solidarity, both because of the overlap that probably many of you know about. There's some overlap between the ASPEC community and the BIPLUS one, not just because of the well-known pipeline of people first identifying as bi and then realizing that if you don't like any gender at the same level, it doesn't mean you're bi. It probably means you are ASPEC in some way, and vice versa. But also we have a strong alliance, solidarity, and unity of intent, which means that Rete is also very focused and brings attention to BIPLUS issues as much as we can. Also, we keep it in mind always when we work on our grassroots mapping of services. If we encounter services or spaces that are biphobic or either way not safe for bi people, we want that to be we want to showcase that. And so this brought to the fact that there are more than one activist from Rete in Rete Rabbit, and also there were so many of us, like 12 of us in the Bi Pride in La Spezia. I wanted to put a group photo here, but I didn't want to put like a photo of all the people that maybe could not feel comfortable with that. And also
Sorry,
didn't want to...
I have to cut you off a bit because we're a bit late, so we have to rush. So just to present, and I'll try to go forward, sorry, because we are running out of time. So now sorry. So now, of course, there's a lot of issues, and I will spare you the memes, but just to go faster, what we faced is a lot of bi erasure in Italian academia, where BIPLUS activism has been defined as just a group of Facebook pages, although there's a huge history of BIPLUS activism. And even psychologists even don't really believe in bi plus sexualities. So there's also the fact that they still try to push us into monosexuality and monosexism. And there's a lot of also erasure in activism and laws, especially in activism in Italy, where bisexuality was defined as a binary in the regional legal laws, but also there's many organizations like Famiglia Arcobaleno who don't include bisexuality and don't talk about bisexual parents, and they just promote their, at least in their statute, they only talk about the gay and lesbian parents and transgender parents, whereas there's a lot of bi erasure and invisibility of bi plus people overall across all spectrum, and there's no public discussion of biphobia and monosexism. I don't know if any who wants to go now, Katef, maybe again? Or
I
Elena?
believe it was me.
Vai, go.
Now you can also see me. So there's bi erasure both in activism and in laws. Aurelio previously mentioned that in the discussion and in the media coverage of the ZAN bill against discrimination based on sexual orientation, bisexuality was virtually erased because no one was talking about it. And also, by asylum seekers in Italy are challenged with a judicial system that often sees them as not gay or lesbian enough or as fake claimers, which means that their asylum request gets denied, which is very dangerous. Also, LG groups and lawmakers often ignore and erase bisexuality, even at a regional level. In Emilia-Romagna, an anti-discrimination law is stressing out healthcare for gay and lesbian people, but forgets bi plus individuals. Also, looking back in time, we have a huge history of bi erasure, biphobia, and monosexism. Okay, thank you. Because the Fuori movement, which was a very important and radical homosexual movement in Italy back in the 70s, there was a lot of biphobia, blatant biphobia. And even more recently, some older organizations like Arcilesbica used to be quite biphobic because switching directly to being TERF and SWERF. Also, some other organizations assimilate bi plus women using ideas like being politically lesbians, so that the political value of being bi plus is not considered. Okay.
Sorry, I'll just have to fast forward a bit. Just this is our community and political objective. So the idea of fighting normalization and binaries and designing support. So the idea is just we want to be conscious, aware, accountable, and resilient and provide positive communities all across the spectrum. The important thing is just we want to live here from saying don't settle, don't compromise on visibility, and don't accept just social media post. I'm sorry that we have to and we wanted just to give you, and if you want, of course, you can have the slides, just what makes it bring us going forward is the joy and smiles of bi plus people and the desire for hope and a better world, and the idea, of course, to rediscover history for those who come after. And in conclusion, of course, the important thing is we want to aim to, as a bi plus movement, for striving for political autonomy and structural changes, and going forward with our positioning and promoting a network of bi plus association that strives to bring everyone together. So thank you again.